master the business of speaking with your hosts, Taylor and Austin. You're listening to Technically Speaking.
Welcome to another episode of Technically Speaking. We're your hosts, Taylor and Austin, and in today's episode, we're talking with Lisa Raebel about how everything in your business is marketing. From your leads you generate, to the outreach you do, to the sales calls you have, to even your voicemail and your client delivery experience. These are all opportunities for marketing in your business. Now, Lisa developed her Rebel marketing strategies after more than 25 years in corporate America as an accomplished sales and marketing professional. So she understands both sides of the coin. And her mission is to help businesses stay in business by marketing their organizations the right way. And in the show today, we talk about how it's really easy as subject matter experts to lose sight of what phrasing we need to say to get our audiences to buy from us. We kind of get stuck in the weeds talking about the technicalities of things since we're subject matter experts, and that expertise isn't necessarily what your prospects need to hear. So let's dive into this episode where we uncover exactly how to create irresistible messaging and rely on simple marketing strategies that get your prospects and your audience to buy from you. As always, stick around until the end for some awesome resources, and we hope you like this one. See you in there. And we are live. Lisa, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Yeah,
totally.
I love the signs behind you, although I can't exactly read. Like, what does it say back there?
I have inspire, laugh, and believe are those are my power words. Those are the words that when I walk in every day, that's what gets me to like really just focus and love what I do about marketing.
Oh, that's so cool. So inspire, laugh, believe. That's what you said?
Yeah, because marketing is about inspiring other people to do something. Like I'm inspired to go into your store. I am inspired to look at your website or buy your product or whatever that is. So like being inspirational when it comes to the marketing. And I don't care what you're doing. Laughing is always fun. And it's always important because if you don't have fun in what you're doing, do something else. And so I love to laugh. I like a good belly laugh every day is like my goal. And then believe, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you either. And I have a very strong faith base. So believe is just a very powerful word for me.
Wow, man. Thanks for breaking that down for us. Like when we do these shows, it's not all the time, but pretty often that we're meeting our guests for the first time when we like sit down to record this, so it's kind of fun to get in your head a little bit and figure out what kind of makes you tick, so thank you for taking that moment.
Don't stay there long. It's a very dangerous place.
Great place, people.
Stay away. So Lisa, we were reading through your bio and your website and course, and one thing that we noticed is that you're a craft beer fan. Of course, you like hiking and stuff as well, and that kind of tied into all that. So what's your favorite craft beer? We're big beer fans here, so.
Well, being from the Milwaukee area, I love a lot of the Milwaukee the Milwaukee breweries. Even like Lakefront happens to have most of my favorite beers. And not only that, they've got a really cool venue, great food, hysterical tours, by the way. If you're in Milwaukee, that's the one I recommend. Either that or I am definitely even just like a Smittix Guinness kind of a girl too, which isn't craft beer, but if they don't have something crafty, I like to go for those.
Yeah.
I like it. So darker, you like darker beers more than
brown ales, not stouty kind of stuff, because I like about Guinness, people think it's so heavy because it's dark, but it's just not. It's super light. You can drink a few of those and not feel super full, but like oatmeal stout or something like that, like one in your want to nap.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
I like IPAs an awful lot, and although they don't feel quite as heavy, they're also the most like calorie dense of all of the beers out there. So I feel it even if I don't feel it every time I drink one. So
whenever I order a craft beer and it comes in one of those like tulip glasses, I call them the warning glasses. Right? Because they're the ones that have the higher alcohol content. Yeah. So like if I order it and I didn't look at the alcohol content, they come in one of those tulip glasses. I'm like, oh, guess I'm only having one of these babies.
Yeah. For sure. Man, I wish we could talk about beer the entire time. Maybe we should start a beer podcast, drink beers and talk about it. That's probably already a thing, isn't that?
I'm sure
knows anyway.
I'll volunteer.
Let me know what you think. Okay, great.
Okay, great.
So of course, so you have an incredible depth of both sales and marketing experience and 25 years in corporate, it sounds like. So tell us about that journey and then what led you to create your marketing consultancy and be a speaker and help others. Can you just unpack that journey for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I always start with something that makes me sound bad, but I don't mean it to sound like bad, but I'm not a very good employee.
Yeah. We know what
And
that's
I
like.
have a feeling a lot of entrepreneurs are the same way. The voice that I have expressing the disagreement I have with leadership doesn't always go over well. So I came to realize that when I was working with clients and a bunch of them said to me, gosh, if I just had you for a little bit, I think I could really get my business moving. Well, after you hear that a few times, you're like, huh, that may not be a bad business model. So I created Rebel Girl Marketing to be a lifestyle business first. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, a homeowner, and I like to go out and have some fun. So it's definitely something I can do as much as I want to or not want to. The other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that small businesses got that corporate knowledge for them because they don't have access to that. Like they might have been an amazing accountant, but never got the experience to do marketing or sales. They're great at what they do, but they have no idea how to promote their business. So my job is to train them, like teach a man to fish, teach a man to market.
Yeah,
nice.
That's a good line. I like that line a lot. So tell us a little bit about the Rebel brand. Like, why that word? Why did you go that direction?
Well, I went through about 25 different names, like launch marketing or, all that, just the basic stuff. And I was driving down 94, and my brother-in-law calls me Rebel all the time. Well, you probably can figure out why, but because my last name is Raebel, and he'd say I'm the rebel of the Rebels. And then it just popped into my head. And then I was like, Rebel Girl. And I'm like, because I really want people to stop thinking about marketing as something that is done and then checked off a list. Like marketing, in my opinion, is a mindset. And that's why I call it Rebel Girl, because I want people to stop thinking about it as something that needs to be checked off, like recording your mileage every week. It's about a mindset that everything that you do is marketing, from the way you pull into a parking lot to go to a client or your business, to how you walk in the door and if you say hello, to how you answer your phone. Here's a question for you guys. When's the last time you listened to your voicemail greeting on your phone?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I should probably do that.
You know what I did? Actually, this is a funny story. I was like, man, that thing's probably old. I think it might have had like my old title in it. Like, because we had some stuff, shift at Speakerflow a couple of years ago. And so I look at my phone and like I had a sigh of relief because it just said default message. And I was like, whew, it's not outdated. So I don't even have like on my personal phone anything custom. It's just leave a message basically.
Wow, you've
right.
I'm losing this battle is what I'm saying.
Well, it's so funny because I actually have people say to me, oh, I was kind of hoping to get your voicemail. I always feel so much better when I hear you have such a positive voicemail. And I never thought of it that way. I just left, I just created a greeting, but it struck me as I have to leave voicemails for other people. It's like, it's a message that basically says, I'm too busy to pick up the phone when you call. So leave a message and I may or may not get back to you. I mean, that's kind of the tonality of it. So having something that's more positive is part of your marketing.
Wow, that's a cool idea. Like kind of looking for hidden ways to demonstrate the ethos of whatever you're trying to project out there. That's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you have any voicemail like tips for us? What does yours say that people liked a lot? I'm curious.
Well, obviously thanking them for calling, and I don't even remember what it says anymore, but it's basically, I'm really looking forward to returning this phone call. As soon as I have a minute, I will give you a call back. It's basically, that's the message. It's not nice. I'm really busy, leave a message, tell me what you need, think you need. And it's all about, and I recorded it probably 5 times, right? It's like, no, that sounds like I'm kind of a big old bee. Well, that sounded, too breathy or whatever. And so you gotta, it's part of your marketing. So make sure it's done well.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there you go, everybody. First homework assignment of today's episode. Go switch up that voicemail.
Yeah, that's right. No kidding. So like one of the things that's very common, you even said this a minute ago, and this is like, it seems to be on your websites, laced throughout all of your marketing copy, is this like philosophy that marketing is everything. And one of the things that stood out to me is particularly in like your bio, I think is where you mentioned this, but basically it was something along the lines from like the first touch point all the way through having the, like them being a customer of yours and having those conversations past that point. Like it sounds like the whole customer journey is marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us more about that and like why that philosophy came to be for you, and just unpack that for us?
Thanks. It's a great question because I get that question a lot when people are looking to hire me. They're like, come on, not everything's marketing. And I said, okay, think about everything that you do in the day and find something that's not marketing to me. You kind of can't. Okay, going to the bathroom and brushing your teeth. Let's not get too technical here, but of course, but at the same time, brushing your teeth before you meet somebody, it's a good idea, right? So it's about the fact that before you even know a product or a brand exists, you have a need. Okay, let's say, I don't know, let me pick something everybody does. I need a pair of dress shoes for a wedding, right? Male, female, doesn't matter. People go to weddings. So it's well, I don't know about a brand, but we're all like, dress shoes suck because they're uncomfortable. So how do I find a pair of dress shoes that are comfortable, that I can still dance in all night and still look good, that kind of a thing, right? Especially if you're in a wedding, you're in it like literally like 16 hours that day. So it's that kind of a concept where before you even know the brand exists, and then you find it, what is the very first impression you have of that brand? It could be their logo, it could be their tagline, it could be any number of things. But marketing exists before you even know that brand exists, because as soon as you engage with that brand, you have a positive or a negative feel. Could be colors, could be whatever that is, marketing. So then there's three things about marketing that's pretty basic that a lot of people talk about. Know, K-N-O-W, know, like, and then trust. It's pretty basic marketing. So marketing is from that know and that like. So they have to know you exist, brand awareness. They have to like what you say, content marketing. And then from like to trust, for them to actually trust enough to give you money for what you do, that's sales. And so the reason I say everything is marketing is that everything that they do to engage with you is part of the customer experience. And if you have a big pothole or big gap in that customer experience, they're going to turn to the next one down the road, because everybody has competition, right? That's why Zappos does such a great job with everything, is because they know that the customer experience is what is going to bring them back. So people actually pay more money at Zappos than at a competitor because the experience is so great. It's reliable. They know what they're going to get. And they've got fun marketing and they have funny taglines and things like that with it. So it's a fun experience. And so that's why that's why I think that everything is marketing, because it doesn't matter. Even if it's just an email saying, hey, I'm really sorry, something got delayed. It's going to be 2 days late. You're less mad about it being 2 days late because someone told you it was going to be 2 days late. Mm-hmm. It's the little things. So literally everything is marketing.
Wow. Man, I can see that play out in our own business. Like,
for sure.
People even forget that, like, even after you win the deal, right? Like, the best case scenario is that you blow their mind and do an amazing job and make them really happy, obviously. But like, they can turn into spin. They can refer you out. You can go deeper with those people. And so you want to look at every step of the process like it's marketing, because you never know when the next opportunity could arise.
Or what are they going to tell their neighbor? Awesome. Oh, those are really cute shoes you got for the wedding. Where'd you get them? Right? Like it's all marketing. And so what's interesting is that I have a friend who's a travel agent, and she works mostly with, like, let's just say it's a happy place. And people want to go there because of the destination, but she is on the phone sometimes for 45 minutes, hour and a half, just trying to get somebody to talk to. But she's the one who does that part, because that a normal human being, if they had to do that, would go crazy. But she understands that that's just what you have to do as the travel agent. So, like, taking away that friction aspect of that planning a family vacation, she removes that friction. And so Jesse Cole, who is the owner of the Savannah Bananas, wrote a book about Find Your Yellow Tux. And he just has a brand new book called Fans First. And both of them are about finding the friction and then removing it. So what's the friction point in your client experience, and then remove it?
Right.
And do you think just by giving the customer a better experience, that in and of itself would qualify as a marketing effort, hence tying into this idea that everything is marketing because you're creating better experience?
Right. Not over communicating, but like over communicating almost. Like I have clients who I give every Friday, I give them like a download of what I did. May not have talked to them personally, but I did work on their stuff, and I give them every Friday. And I've got some guys who are like, that's really great. I don't read them every Friday. I said, well, at least if you want to go back and read them now you have them. It's over deliver. And so they're not thinking as a consultant, oh, she's just taking my money and like not doing anything. No, this is what I did this week. And so it's that over communication aspect.
Man, we found that to be true as well. I'm curious. Gary Vaynerchuk is the guy who said this originally, which people have mixed opinions about. I may have even mentioned this on the show before, but he said something one time that really stuck with me. And he was talking about Taylor Swift. And he was like, there's not that many celebrities that'll get on Twitter and look for the person that said, hey, Taylor, are you going to go to prom with me? Of the tens of thousands of people do. But she does that. And then we'll actually go to prom with that person. And so what he labeled this as is scaling the unscalable. If you could find a way to do something as an individual, as a personality, as a small unit that a bigger brand or organization would never have the infrastructure or the care on that level to actually accomplish, you can really grow your business. And so his point is like, as a small business owner, you have the potentiality to scale the unscalable, i.e. be a good human being, be the Taylor Swift of the world. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're talking about here. Like you're finding ways to maximize the little moments in the customer experience that can give them that wow effect and then potentially bring them back or create that brand loyalty that at least gives you the know, like, and trust required for somebody to buy from you, even if it's not in the here and now. Am I getting this right? Are we talking about the same thing here?
Yeah. So, to go to the laughter part of my sign, like I like to make things fun. So I had a client who, like for 10 years, she had been trying to get a new website and they were so busy. It was like, and then, 2020, 21 hit, and then they were like backpedaling because they had to go from paper documents to like digital. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that happened, right? So we finally launched their new website and she loved it, of course. And so what I did was I brought poppers and champagne and like a picture that I framed of their homepage and things like that, and her favorite quote on a board. And we just celebrated the fact that this of 10 years of her trying to get this done alone, it's like you have to like, and for her, she said that was kind of like the icing on the cake. I mean, I love the fact that we launched the website. I love the fact that we did this, but you went above and beyond and like really helped us celebrate the fact that this was a huge accomplishment in our 70-year-old business. And so it's about the little fun stuff too. Like I always bring cupcakes to the first strategy session for all the employees. They're called Nothing Bundt Cake. I don't know if you guys have them by you.
Yep. No. They're so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
they're made with cocaine, I swear, because they're just amazing.
For sure. They should be illegal.
Yes, they are so good. But I bring those and everybody's just like, why did you bring these? I'm like, well, you know what? We're going to be talking about a lot of things. I want to keep your sugar up. I want to keep your energy up. And they just think it's funny, but everybody remembers it. Like I'll show up and they go, did you bring us cupcakes? Not this time. Sorry.
You set the bar
real high bar. Yeah, right.
But it doesn't cost a lot of money, but it made a huge impression with the employees. They're not my clients. The business owner's my client, but the employees like working with me because I listen to them as well. And so it's going above and beyond. Yes.
Nice.
Love that.
So one thing that I'm pondering here is I think, especially for smaller businesses, which is the people listening to this show, often solopreneurs, maybe teams like 1 to 5, let's say, marketing can feel like this black box. They start going down the path of tactics, email marketing, SEO, paid advertising, like that, and less about like the philosophy, it seems. And it sounds more like marketing is more about like intentionality, like just being intentional with every step of the process, and maybe not having, sure, you need elements of all of these things, like maybe some content marketing and some SEO and some social media, some presence and whatnot. There's tactics and everything, but it sounds like we can really simplify how people are perceiving what marketing actually means by just putting some intention forward rather than focusing on all the tactics that are kind of glorified magic wands and silver bullets, it sounds like. Am I getting that?
Absolutely. So it's so funny because marketing specialists, like if you have an SEO specialist or email specialist or digital specialist, blah, 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 right? All the different things you can do within marketing channels. You know, I have people read articles say, oh my gosh, I have to have a TikTok account. Why do you have to have a TikTok account?
I know.
Well, I read this article and they said that that's where business is going. Everybody needs a TikTok account. And I'm like, you're an accountant. Nobody that you're selling to is on TikTok. Right?
Yeah, we have this conversation a lot.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
In the comments, you guys, hate at me in the comments. You should have TikTok accounts.
So it's so funny because people who write those articles keep me in business because it confuses people. And so my first thing would be, well, not stop reading articles, but sit back and go, okay, does that apply to me? Right? Because not every self-help book and not every marketing article and not every marketing book you read is going to be 100% applied to you. You have to sit back and go, okay, that makes sense. Like I love marketing books because I'm like, that applies to this client. I'm going to apply that strategy or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then I go back and I go, yeah, that's not going to work for my clientele. So when I do strategy sessions, when I start with a client, I always start with a strategy session because sometimes they don't even know what they sell, because they know like I sell this, but they don't know the intangibles of what you sell. I have a client right now who is in petroleum and they also sell fear, not in a bad way, but kind of like we do our job. So like fires don't happen where the petroleum is, right? So this the intangibles. Then they have to figure out who they're selling to. And then that's not just the people paying the check. It's the people who are the end users and the influencers. And then I go through a whole thing of like, where do they hang out? And then what are we going to say? So just by helping small businesses figure out those 4 things, what do I sell? Who am I selling it to? Where do they hang out? And what do I say? Gives them the foundation to go, okay, I got this. Like once they know that, then they can go out and sell. Like, so one of my speaking things is the power of your pitch. A lot of people don't like networking because they don't know what to say. What do you do? Well, I'm kind of a dabble in the, but if you know what to say off the top, I mean, it really helps. And that's all that marketing. So does that answer your question?
There's perceived value there too.
Yeah, for sure.
I need to step off my soapbox here a little bit, but
no, please, soapbox.
That's why we have you here.
That's exactly
please
right.
be on your soapbox.
Yeah.
Yep. People don't want to listen to Taylor and Austin rant. We do enough of that as is. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, totally.
Okay.
No, I love the picture you painted there. And it makes perfect sense. I think we've seen elements of this too in just working with our clients at Speaker Flow, but there's like a conviction that happens when you have that clarity, like all of a sudden you can see how to communicate what your brand is to somebody and how you can provide value to somebody. And now you're going to be more tenacious with maybe some of your marketing efforts rather than not doing anything because we don't have any clarity on what to say or who we're reaching out to. And, I think just clarity alone goes such a long way for people to be able to then take it and run with it, like you said.
Yeah, I have one story that I love to tell the most. This very nice young man started, it was a young entrepreneurs group I did a speaking engagement for, and he started a handyman business. But he got up there and he kind of had that speech that was reminiscent of that in Forrest Gump, where Bubba's telling Forrest all the ways you can make shrimp on the bus ride to the do you remember that scene?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So his pitch went something like, well, I clean gutters and sometimes I have to fix the gutters, and while I'm up there sometimes I'll fix a shingle, and then like I've done some landscaping. I like electrical, but I have to get my certification electrical, and then I've done some plumbing, and then and then he just goes on, right? So we went through this exercise that I do with the speaking engagement, and his pitch went from that to, my name is Nate. I'm a handyman. I do everything on your home to-do list you hate to do.
Nice. Easy. What's Nate's number? Can I get that?
That's what everybody says. Do you still know, Nate?
You listening?
Yeah, you listening? Bring me up.
But it's the perfect example of like not knowing what to say and then saying something so clear that the people go, really? Tell me more. I mean, that's all a pitch is. Think about like baseball. The pitcher's not up there just throwing balls at the catcher one after the other, right? You go back and forth. And that's all a pitch is in networking is it's just there to start a conversation. I also call a thing called like not the show up and the throw up, right? What do you do when 2 minutes later, the person's still talking and you know their pets' names and what they're doing that weekend and where they went to college and their entire resume and
it's a lot.
Yeah, not particularly fun. I think there's a really important thing to take away from this too, is that like what you just described, what you sell, who you sell it to, where they hang out, and what you're going to say to them, right? These are just like the foundations that literally every other sales and marketing tactic that's going to get used is built upon. Like,
right.
And I think a lot of people jump the gun, and it's for the same reason I think that you or that people come to people like us saying, hey, should I start a TikTok or join Clubhouse or any of these things? Because the way that the clickbaity sort of internet world works is that the magic tactics, the secret formulas, the things that should be overnight successes are really sexy. And so they get lots of clicks. And so they get talked about an awful lot. So people have their heads just filled with all of these shoulds that they could be doing, you know, the SEO and the paid advertising and the funnels and all the stuff that people talk about on the internet all the time. And I think that people get so hung up on their confusion around executing on those things that nothing ever gets done. And it's not because you don't know how to SEO or you don't know how to do email marketing or you don't know how to do any of these tactics. It's because the foundations aren't in place enough to a point where we can confidently do that. Because past that point, it's just different mediums of communicating the same thing. I mean, it's not that complicated is what I'm trying to say. It's just foundations and then scaled into the different mechanisms that we have to get it in front of people.
Yeah. And I'm going to caution people on, and I'm going to caution people of trying to do it by themselves because I have a friend who's a life coach and I love her to death. She's a very good friend of mine. And her pitch was something very like, I take people from the inside out journey to create, foundations that cause I'm like, that's very life coachy of you, but nobody knows what you're talking about. And so you have to be careful when you're a subject matter expert to sound too subject matter experty.
Yeah.
And so it's dangerous to do it without an outside vision and voice, because otherwise, I do the same thing, right? I always tell my friends and my network, I always say 2022 is the year I'm going to take my own damn advice, because I can sound very marketing-y and I have to stop doing that. Right. So my pitch is literally got to the point where I just say, as a marketing strategist, it's my job to make sure that when your clients and prospects need what you sell, they think of you first.
Nice.
That's it. And from there, you have to build the foundation, and then you build the strategies and you hang out where they hang out and all that other stuff. So,
yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Really simple. Yep. There's this awareness component that goes into things. And Chris Gray is a guy that we brought in a little while back. It might be our most watched episode of all time, actually. Awesome dude. But he talks about this important transition that you have to go through with people, where you're originally just trying to capture awareness and then move them into relevancy, where they kind of understand they're bridging the gap between what they need and what you have. And then at that point, you can get them to take action. So I think a lot of what we're talking about sort of kind of ties back into that original principle here, is just how do you be the type of person in business that people want to work with when the need arises for them, that they can use your help. Like what you just talked about is your expertise, and your pitch applies to everything that we just talked about. So I hope people hear that that's the outcome of this type of mindset that you're describing here.
For sure. Yeah, it's all about power words. And the power words do not resonate with you, but the power words, and I need a new word because resonate's overused, but I can't come up with a better word. But it's the words that will capture the attention of the person you're talking to.
That's right.
That's it. That's all a power word is. So
simple, man. What an insightful episode. Lisa, this has been awesome. I am so glad you came on today to just share this foundation. I think we brought in people to talk about the tactics of marketing, but these foundational elements, I think, have been, maybe, dare I say, missing from our show so far. So Lisa, you've added so much value to our listeners. I hope you guys go and take lots of notes and rewatch this, and maybe talk to Lisa to help maybe read the label of the bottle you're stuck in. So that being said, Lisa, if people want to get
can
into,
I have that? I need to write that down.
For sure. Yeah, we say that all the time.
That you're stuck in.
You're stuck in. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, we
awesome.
say that all the time. I don't credit that to us. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe a few Google searches, but
Tarka gets credit for that. Dr. T. Yep,
wow,
we love you, Dr. T. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Yes. So Lisa, if folks want to learn more and engage with you, well, what are you working on right now? How can they get in touch? Fill them in.
Well, right now I am in the middle of writing a book. It's literally about everything that we just talked about. Like the first part of the book, the first section is about those 4 things. What do you sell? And the one thing that, as I read business books, I think is missing is the fact that you don't have a space to apply it to your own world. And so with each chapter comes a downloadable PDF worksheet off of my website. And so like you literally, as you read the book, you fill in how it applies to you. I'm hoping it'll actually be published in the fall, at the pace I'm going right now, though. So that would be great. That launch will probably be October, November. And so that's what I'm working on right now for the general public. But I think that it's like a workshop workbook, as well as a book that you could just read without applying it, without using the PDFs. But I think that's what I always feel missing is like, I wish there was a worksheet that has like, how does this apply to me personally?
Yeah, totally. Well, definitely we're going to need copies of that as soon as that comes out. So we'll definitely keep our ears to the ground. And guys, if you want to learn more about Lisa, check out the show notes. We've got our website. Connect with her on LinkedIn if you'd like. Definitely reach out and engage. An amazing human being. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. And you guys, if you like this episode, don't forget to rate it, like it, subscribe to it. And if you want more awesome resources like this, go to speakerflow.com/resources.
Thank you guys. Bye. This was fun.
See ya.
Yay.
Thanks for tuning in today. Check the show notes for more info and see you next time. Later.